Have you ever made travel plans, booked the flight, and even reserved the hotel room, and then suddenly thought, what in the world was I thinking? You start picturing how good it would feel to just stay home. You imagine that warm cup of coffee in your own kitchen, no airports, no suitcases, no stress. And in that moment, if you could get every penny back, you might actually cancel the whole trip, but you can't. So you sit there, second guessing yourself, feeling that familiar tug between excitement and anxiety. Well, that's exactly where I am right now. Hello, everyone. I'm Sharri Harmel, and this is your next chapter. This is where we talk about what it means to design a fabulous, wonderful next chapter. This is total honesty, though, but it is specifically for women 50 plus, 50 and better, can we say, who are trying to figure out what's next. And today I'm going to talk about something we often try to avoid, which is discomfort. Because here's the truth. To create a fabulous next chapter without getting at least a little uncomfortable is impossible. So let me share a little story. Right now, as I record this, I'm feeling that exact travel anxiety I just described. You'd think I'd be used to it by now. I travel all the time. I think I've got platinum, pretty close to diamond on Delta Airlines. But I'm going somewhere that I've never traveled to before. And I'm going with a tour group I've never traveled with before, and even my friends who I've never traveled before. Plus, it happens to be near a war zone. I'm joining a tour in Poland, and Poland borders Russia and Ukraine. Now, my ex-husband and I obviously get together from time to time because of the grandkids. So he's actually calling me, telling me to cancel. And even my own daughter expressed concern that I'm going to Poland. So I'm panicking a little. How do I get to Warsaw? How to get home from Krakow? Will the hotels be nice? I like nice hotels. My friends, what are they going to be like to travel with? How dressy will it be? The list of why I'm uncomfortable is endless. I'm even questioning my sanity. What was I thinking? Why did I sign up for this? But I've learned something over the years, and that is that feeling discomfort isn't a warning sign. It's actually an invitation. It's an invitation to grow, to stretch, to move closer to who you're meant to become. And it doesn't only happen when we travel. Think about the last time you tried something new. Maybe it was joining a fitness class where everybody already knew what they were doing. Or maybe it was walking into a social gathering alone and it was a big crowd of people, and suddenly you thought, I know no one here, and they seem to know everyone. It might even be pressing publish on your first Substack post, or sitting down to paint again after decades of not holding a brush. Each of those moments carries a little twinge of discomfort. And discomfort is that mix of vulnerability and even courage kind of hiding underneath it. But if you look back into your life, and many of us my age have a whole lot back there, we've got more back there than we have up there. But if you look back, you can see that some of your most beautiful experiences probably began with the feeling of discomfort. At this stage of our life, we've already faced so many challenges. We've raised children, we've built careers, we've held families together, we've cared for others, we've navigated the divorce or the passing of a partner. We've attended loads of events alone. So we know what real strength looks like. And yet, as we begin to ask that next chapter question, which is, what about me? A new challenge appears. It would be so easy to stay comfortable, stay in the big house rather than give stuff away and move, read books that don't make you think, travel to familiar places, or even give up traveling because it means you're going somewhere unfamiliar and this time all alone. But what if these new challenges or this new discomfort was not survival, but actually expansion? Not obligation, but actually exploration. And expansion, my friends, doesn't feel comfortable. Our minds want to control and have predictable experiences. Our minds want to stay comfortable. Actually, there's some scientific evidence that humans seek comfort above everything. But our souls actually crave something entirely different. Our souls crave curiosity, growth, and possibilities. So, that discomfort you feel is actually, that nervous flutter before you try something new. Think of travel, think of getting on an airplane. That flutter, you can feel it, you can connect to that moment. And it happens in so many situations that you're going to step into. That is the signal you're on the right path. I'm starting to believe that creating a fabulous next chapter requires a certain comfort level with discomfort. I'm telling you, about a week ago, I hosted a book launch. And my book came out in February, but I'm continuing to launch the book because it is pretty much the foundation of all of our work on designing a fabulous next chapter, right? I was so uncomfortable. First of all, I'm not very good at promoting myself. I would much rather promote you. And I was doing this book launch in a friend's home, which meant I had to cart all the food over and all the accessories that go along with it. I watched on YouTube yesterday a whole presentation on how to do a book launch, and I truly broke every single one of the rules. But I was so uncomfortable. I was so nervous. I thought, oh my gosh, if there's any way I could get out of this, I would. But I did it. And I met some absolutely wonderful women and got great feedback, really in understanding what designing a next chapter, what are the challenges of designing a next chapter? Because what was interesting is that at this book launch, the women were not over 50 as a whole. They were over 40. These were women who were kind of in midlife, as we want to call it, maybe, trying to figure out their next steps. So their perspectives were fascinating. And we had like a group coaching session. But my point is that the discomfort I felt going into that was actually erased in the moment of doing it, of actually experiencing what it was I was so uncomfortable about. Discomfort really shows up everywhere in our lives, whether we're moving to a new place. Yes, it's exhausting, but it is primarily uncomfortable because our surroundings are so important to us. Traveling alone. So many people share with me on this YouTube channel how nervous they are to travel solo. It is uncomfortable. There's aspects of it that are uncomfortable, but the more you do it, it's like a muscle, a comfort muscle or an uncomfortable muscle, because the more we do it, the more comfortable we are with the discomfort of whatever it is that we're doing. Joining new groups can be uncomfortable. I'm an introvert, and so walking into a situation where I know no one is always uncomfortable. I have to find that one or two people who I can really connect with. Even slowing down and not filling your days with things to do, like just go, 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 can feel surprisingly uncomfortable too. Even though that feeling is sometimes fleeting, initially it's like, oh my God, it's a blank page in my agenda book. But every single time you walk through that feeling of discomfort and choose to not run away from it, but walk towards it, you get stronger. That's that discomfort muscle that you're building. And you start to realize and believe in yourself. I can handle this. I've done this, before. I've done hard things before. I can do this too. That's how confidence grows. That's how that old imposter syndrome, which is something that came up for so many women in the book launch coaching session that we did, is about the imposter syndrome. And how do you bust that imposter syndrome? That is to gain confidence. How do you gain confidence? You do uncomfortable things. Push yourself. Uncomfortable things are, how do I say it? Accepting that you don't really know how things are going to turn out. You don't know if this is going to work. You don't know if this trip is going to be great. You don't know if this apartment is going to be perfect. But from doing them, from trying on whatever it is that you want to create in your next chapter, and that's a chapter actually in the book, one of the steps is trying on your idea. And so trying things on helps you to have, the comfort level of this works, this doesn't work. And you have absolutely no idea if something is going to work unless you try something on. It's just like the dressing room. You bring in all these clothes and you try them on. And out in the general store, you have no idea what those particular outfits are going to look like. You have to try them on. Exactly the same with whatever your next chapter dreams are. And that means you have to get a little bit uncomfortable. That's what this chapter of life that we are now in is really all about. It's saying yes to new adventures, even when they scare you. This is the chapter where you have to trust yourself enough to try and learn that your discomfort isn't something to fix. It isn't something to push away. It's something actually to honor because it means you're alive. It means you're growing. It means that your next chapter is unfolding right in front of you. So if you're feeling uncomfortable right now, whether it's a big change or a small one, don't see it as a sign to stop. See it as proof that you're stepping into something real, something with meaning, something that's truly yours. Remember, discomfort isn't the enemy of a fabulous life. It's actually the doorway into that fabulous life, that fabulous next chapter you want. I want to thank you for joining me today on Your Next Chapter. And if this conversation resonated with you, I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts. What's one area of your life where you're feeling a little uncomfortable right now? And what might that feeling be trying to tell you? And share it in the comments. I love reading your comments. YouTube, I have to be honest, is making it a little bit difficult to read comments and to respond to comments, but please keep commenting and I'll keep trying to figure out a way to answer all of your comments and all of your questions. You can also connect with me through my Substack community. If you haven't already, do subscribe to this YouTube channel, which is Your Next Chapter, so that you don't miss the next conversation on designing your fabulous next chapter. Come and join me over on Substack. There's a free version and you get a little taste and you have the opportunity to comment. It's a different community, which means you might get some different connections and some different ideas. So until next time, I want you to remember to move forward with love, a little courage, and a deep trust that something fabulous is waiting for you on the other side of discomfort. I'm Sharri Harmel, and this is Your Next Chapter. Take care, everyone. Bye for now. A biento.